his phone there. What's Yeah! Great song. I love it. Way to go, Ellie. Way to go, Ellie. Oh.
Yo, hey Larry, you were doing pretty good during the song there, but you're looking a little concerned now. What's going on? Well, I was just remembering in Sunday school, and Miss Emily had suggested we try something, and I just don't know. She said we should try to have a quiet time. A quiet time? Like, does that mean you turn off the Mets game? Yeah, I suppose. You can't do that. Or you turn off the radio and you stop listening to the, all the great shows. Yeah, I think you have to do that too. This just sounds crazy. That doesn't mean you have to turn off your iPad. Yeah, I think I have to turn off my iPad. This is really sounding a little much. So, you turn off the TV, you turn off the radio, even if Pastor Rudy's on. Yeah, even then. I mean, I can understand if like the Phillies game is on, you definitely want to turn that off. But
hey now.
your iPad, your everything, you turn off everything. Why? Well, I think it's so we don't have any distractions. Distractions from what? Well, I think it's so I can take time, I think, and focus on God. Yeah, but it's okay to have a little, background. You can multitask and stuff. I don't think that's how it works. And I think I might actually give this a try. What? That can't, you there's no way. How are you going to do this? This sounds so boring. I guess maybe it might. I just keep hearing that it's good. That I can actually learn to know God better. Excuse me? You mean you're going to get to know God better? And how do you think that happens? I really am curious. I want to know. I want to understand. And I really want to give this a shot. Maybe someone can help us. I wonder can anyone help us with this?
I think you guys sound like you need a little help.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he wants to turn off all his TVs and all his stuff and turn off the radio. I mean, what's up with this?
Well, why is he turning off the TV?
Yeah, why? Well, I might be distracted.
And what exactly is the reason? What is it that you want to do?
I do really want to learn about God.
And to do that, you definitely need quiet time. It's important for us to spend time with the Lord by ourselves. Pastor Rudy, when do you have your quiet time and how do you go about it?
Well, for me, because I get distracted easily, and I understand people who sometimes say, how do you keep your mind from going in 1,000 directions? So I've always treated my relationship with God like I would be talking to you, Miss Kristen, or talking to one of our friends over on the puppet theater. And I normally do my quiet time with God sometime during the day. I cut apart during the day because morning times and the evening times are not the best time for me. So I would go for a walk with the Lord, or I will just cut some time away, and I walk and talk, okay? Because some people say when they sit and pray, it's hard to keep your mind on it, and I understand that. So I normally would take a walk with God if I can, or sometimes I will drive in the car and not have the radio on, which is hard for me because I love music. But I make sure that, number one, I'm giving God a chance to talk to me, and I talk to him like I'd be talking to you. And when I walk and talk, it would be like, again, I'd be walking and talking with one of my children or one of my grandkids or even yourself. And so it helps me keep my mind more focused rather than if I try to sit, because that word quiet time is what always sometimes, makes it, because we really do have to fight. We have to work hard to make it quiet, don't we?
Absolutely. I know as parents, we have a lot going on in our lives, right? Especially right now. But we want to ask you parents too, when do you have your quiet time? How do you go about it? And how do you exemplify that for your kids? So you said you would walk Pastor Rudy, do things in the car. How did you model that for your kids?
Well, the kids knew that what I was doing, and they saw their mom do something totally different, because their mom gets up really early. I mean, this morning, mom was up, my wife, Terry, Miss Terry was up at 4:30 in the morning. And the very first thing she did was read her Bible. And they would see, that was something that would always happen. I got up early this morning and saw Abby reading her Bible like her mom. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do is not major on the how you do it, but more on that you do it. Mm-hmm. Because I think Joel is more, the boys are more wired like me, where we talk with God as we're doing something. But the doing something is not like, we're not doing something that, distracting, right? We go for the walk, or we ride the bike, or we, you know what I mean? Right. We would, there would be times I would even go out and cut the grass and have some really good quiet time with God, even though the roar of the engine. But it's funny, people would sometimes think you're talking to yourself, but I was actually talking to God.
I'm the same way. I definitely have to be doing something. I go for a run in the morning, and that is my quiet time, not my Bible reading time, my quiet time with God, and praying and listening and just waiting to hear what it is. But not only do we have to be exemplifying for our kids that how to have quiet time, we need to be exemplifying, we need to be teaching them, we need to be having family devotionals. Yeah. How did you do family devotionals with your kids growing up?
Let me tell you how Dad did it. I mean, we had a lot of kids in our family, and yet supper time was a time that everybody ate together. And this is the easiest way. It's still so. I mean, it's the easiest way, and it's still available even at the lighthouse downstairs. Apart from the treehouse, you get this little book called Our Daily Bread, and every night before dinner, before we ate, Dad would read the day for everybody, and then he'd ask a few questions. And the funny thing is that he would always include all the kids, and I think of my brother. Martin, who has Down syndrome, and Martin's question was always, the answer would be Jesus, and no matter what, it was always Jesus, and yet everybody, that was part of it, and sometimes we would we would go, oh yeah, I'm hungry, let's eat, but Dad was faithful in that, and now that he's been gone for 20 years, I wish we could do one more dinner like that, but talking around it, and this is something again that has to be almost, if you don't make time for it, you can't wait for time to come. Because if you don't say, we're going to do this as a family, it will not happen. How about you guys? What do you do?
We, generally, our kids get a bath, and then right after bath
That's
time,
good. They're clean. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, so we've kept that from the time they were little. It's always been bath, story, prayer, and bedtime. So we've kind of kept that same routine where you have your bath, but instead of having any kind of story, we try to gear it towards our Bible story or things like that. So that way, it's the same consistency every night. We definitely like the consistency of it. Now, I have recently been thinking, because I usually read my Bible before I go to bed. And I struggle with that only because my kids never see me go to bed. Right. So they never see. When I asked my son the other day, when does mommy read her Bible? And he goes, I don't do you read your Bible? And I'm going,
on Sunday at kids' church.
I want him to know,
right.
That I'm reading my Bible. So it made me think like, okay, maybe I need to tweak something a little differently. I know as he gets older, he'll say it, but I want him to know also now, or at least have that conversation with him that, we're having this quiet time. I'm not just telling you that you have to do this now, but I'm doing it too. And I think it's important for us not just to say, hey, you need to do this, but we need to be showing them that we are actively doing it as well to further our walk and things like that.
I think what Miss Kristen said is really important about story. It's not just, it's not just reading from the Old Testament King James, which, let's just face facts, would lose sometimes even adults' attention. but it's making sure that a story gets across, and we love stories at any age. I mean, we all love stories. That's really what people watch movies for, is to see a story. So if we could gear it more to emphasize, it's like almost, it's story time. It's not, oh, we got to be with God time, but it's a story time. Let's learn. I just think that if, even parents, if you guys would approach it more as a story time.
And you can take almost any story. I mean, I know, Pastor Rudy, you've taken the fireworks song and the Walking on Sunshine and turned it to how can we relate this to Christ in some way.
Because most stories are, if you take any of the stories we grew up with, they're really only the Bible story. Cinderella, rejected by her parents, looking for a prince to come. Mm-hmm. We're rejected by, our sin has made us rejected by everything, and yet Jesus comes to rescue us, and that's really it. That's why story, when you talk about family devotionals, it scares people off, but if you have a story time where God, the stories of how you trusted God. Do your kids know how you became a Christian?
Yeah,
do your kids know why you're a Christian?
For you guys, for parents to answer and let your kids know how you came to know Jesus as more than just going to church. Yeah. But that's something that I'd like to ask the parents. Have you ever shared your story with your children? Yeah.
Whoa. You said, whoa. Yep. You said family devotionals.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've tried. I have tried and tried and tried and tried.
And tried.
He's tried.
Yeah.
And it's like my diet. I just start on Monday and I'm doing good.
You are.
And then the weekend comes. And then I see those commercials at night for cheesesteaks and pizza and chicken wings. And I gotta start all over again.
And somebody brings you banana cream pie.
Oh my goodness. And I can just go to town on it. And I have to start all over again. And every time I try with my family, we start okay. And we just kind of,
drift.
Stop.
Yeah.
I hear you too. I've tried also, but there's just no time between sports and schoolwork and homework and all the things we do, and then the kids go to play their games, and we just can't seem to get together. I mean, there's just not enough time in the day. I mean, maybe if, day was longer, or, if I didn't have so much stuff on my plate. I know, talk about stuff on my plate, that's my problem. Oh, thank you.
I just want to fix your hair, while it's there.
It's so yarny, I need some good conditioner.
You need to get to the salon.
I know, enough already.
But you just said time. Now, there's no sports right now. There's no games to go to. There's no... So wouldn't this be a great time to try to make it a part of your daily routine? I'm just asking. Because there's no excuses. You don't have to be at ballet class. You can't go to dance. You can't go... you can't... Some people can't even go to work.
So, how can I start it? Because, we always had so many excuses and reasons why not to.
Well, what are some of the things you just do every day by habit? What's something you do every day that you'll do whether somebody tells you to or not?
Oh, I suppose, eating.
Eating! Bing, bing, bing!
I know, eating.
Eating! So, family devotions don't have to be 6.5 hours. What if you start with... I've always learned the best thing, even on a diet, is to start with little steps rather than try to, you don't have to read the entire Bible at your first meal, right? What if you started with just a little Our Daily Bread book or something devotional, and you just read a little bit of that, and if it's over your kids' heads, you know how to make it more appropriate to kids, and just start there. Just start with it, right, Miss Kristen?
Eating is a great time to do it because, like you said, it's something you do every
day.
Single day. Whether you're eating, if you all eat breakfast together, if you all eat lunch together, if you all eat dinner together, whatever meal you're there for, it is a great time to start a devotional then. And if you're not sure how to start, there are so many resources out there to help you along with it.
So even just a little bit is good.
Even just a little bit is better than, like, well, if you ever started to, you say, I want to run every day. Well, are you going to start running by 5 miles every day? No. What do you start? How do you start running?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Go a little bit.
That's right, because if you overdo it on the first day, the second day you're going to say, I don't want to do that again. But if you build up every day, another good thing, Miss Kristen, I don't know if you do this with your family, but I love Adventures in Odyssey, which are the stories that Focus on the Family do. And they've been doing that for such a long time. And my adult kids still listen to, because once we started to eat, when we ate as a family, we would have a story of Adventures in Odyssey, or they would listen to that before they went to bed. And
my kids love the Saddleback Kids
there
right
you
now.
go.
Like I said last week, the Nacito boys enjoyed those, and the whole how Jesus goes, oh, ayo, at the beginning of them, and now every time they're doing anything, it's oh, ayo. But they're
Ooh?
3 minutes long.
it's ooh?
Ew.
Ew.
Ew, not ooh?
It changes. But it's so, they're quick and to the point, and then they open a discussion for us.
Right.
So it's a 3-minute YouTube clip.
Wow.
And then we can quick jump into a discussion, or we can ask questions that relate to it. Another thing, hi JJ and Ethan, by the way, you guys are saying hi to us.
JJ and Ethan!
Say hi back to you guys.
Hey guys, is anybody else out there? Come on, let me hear you. What kids are out there?
Give us a
a
hello.
shout. Just say, hey, I'm
somehow.
here. We can hear you. Right? Go ahead.
JJ and Ethan, since you guys are watching, what do you guys do for family devotionals? Do you like them? Do you like certain family devotionals more than others? We want to hear from you guys too. But as parents, we want to make sure that this isn't, it becomes part of our daily routine, because it is our responsibility to invest in the lives of our children through spiritual growth. And as right now, you can't just drop them off to Sunday school and say, hey, I did my job, I brought them here, unfortunately. So as parents right now, some of us, I know not all of us have that extra time, some of us are still working, and we have even more going on right now than we did previously, but we still have to find that time to invest in our kids and show them how important it is for them to be diving in the Word as a family together.
Even if things get back to normal, I can't tell you how many times when Joel and I, or one of the kids and I, would ride to one of their games, we would have a little talk about the Lord on the way there. I remember, when Joel was playing baseball, one day we played Jesus Freak, the DC Talk song on the radio, and talked about how important it is to make sure that today you play for Jesus. You make sure that, well, no matter what, because again, if you see family devotion time as, something boring, like one of our friends said earlier, then but it doesn't have to be boring. It could be just like, singing in the car. What do you sing it? Most people sing in the car anyway.
Absolutely.
What are you singing? And there's so many good songs, like the Ellie Holcomb songs that.
There are so many soundtracks. Vacation Bible School soundtracks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But my kids request them every time
sure.
to get in the car.
Sure.
I think I've listened to Rock the Boat more times.
Rock the Boat, don't rock the boat, baby. No, that's not that one.
Not quite that one.
Yeah.
But we listen to those Vacation Bible School songs over and over and over again. But the really cool thing is I hear my kids sing these songs outside of the car. I hear them sing them when we're going through the grocery store and we're here and we're there. And that's
probably before they go to sleep.
Okay, I can listen to this 50,000 more times. This is what's coming out of their mind. These are the lyrics.
But don't they listen to? I mean, you're going to hear something. It's so much better than kids are. You guys amaze me sometimes, because they know every word to every song on the radio. Why not? Wouldn't it be better to know every song everything that's a little more uplifting and more positive and
there are so many songs.
And there's so many
out
good
there.
songs. As a matter of fact, at the end today, we're going to sing a song together. And we want the kids to make sure, if you're out there, make sure you get your instruments ready, because we're going to jam, a little Jesus jam with peanut butter at the end of our time together here today.
Absolutely. But like we said before, there's so many resources out there for family devotionals. If you're unsure how to start, they even have the very best hands-on, kind of dangerous family devotionals book. So if you think, they could be
dangerous.
boring,
What's dangerous family devotional book?
Experiments.
Oh wow!
And different things,
Cool.
that can get
can get
involved. So it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could take a family ice cream trip, but
Sounds
you can talk
good.
about what you're thankful
Let's
for.
go.
I know Mr. John had given an idea to whatever you're eating for lunch. How does that relate to? How can you relate that to the Bible somehow? And he came up with some creative things. To
Manna again? No, seriously,
So
because how many times people, you know, in the Old Testament, remember, they complained about manna again, and rather than say, thank you, God, for my feeding me.
I think I have to say that to my children almost every day.
Yeah.
So it's something, but there are so many things throughout the day. We don't have to see family devotionals as okay, we have to sit here and read the Bible, and now we have to do this, and now we have to do this. But it can be those teachable moments even throughout the day, as long as you make sure that they are there, that they're consistent, that it's a daily thing and not a, okay, I did it this week and now I'm going to do it this week. And we get that it's hard, and you can't beat yourself up when you miss it either. You have to.
And that's what we were telling our puppet friends earlier, that, okay, you know, if you ever did the read through the Bible in a year thing and you quit because you missed a few days and you started to, the best thing to do is just pick up where you left off. You don't necessarily have to, you know, if you missed a day or missed 2 days, you just pick up on the next day.
Yep.
You know,
and even
and
memorizing one Bible verse for the week is an awesome way to get started. We want to teach our kids to, you know, hide God's word in our heart. And if we're memorizing it for the week, okay, you can memorize one each week for a couple weeks, then go back and review the ones that you've already memorized. But it gives you a great foundation for what you want to build upon as you continue your walk with the Lord.
Okay.
Amen.
Yes, that little Beatle break was. I did turn it down, but unfortunately, Uncle Pastor Rudy has no idea how to use his phone.
But yeah, so if parents, if you have questions as to what resources are a good idea, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Pastor Rudy. We would be more than happy to find something that suits your kids with their ages and what would be best for them. Any other suggestions from you, Pastor?
I just looked at the clock and I go, we're almost out of time.
I know. We're getting
I
ready
was just
for
getting warmed up.
5
No,
minutes.
just make sure that you try. Rather than, and so many times during what's been going on, rather than saying I can't do it, really when you say I can't, it's more like I won't even try. So I'd much rather have you try than not do it at all. And what works for one family doesn't work for another family. So again, the way you do it is not as important as that you do it, you know. And so for me, when I memorize scripture, and I still do this to this day, the reason I memorize a lot of scripture because I put it all to music. And that's the way I learn, you know. And so I might have to sing the verse before I share the verse, but you know how many songs there are.
And for little kids, between music or hand motions. I know my kids get the hand motions before they get the lyrics, but they know what hand motion is coming
His
next.
banner over me is love. He brought me to the banqueting table, right?
Yep.
His banner over me is love.
And then it sticks with them longer than we think it
Are we
does.
going to hear from our puppets anymore? Or is
Our
that...
puppets are going to come back to sing with us. We're going to sing Wherever I
Oh,
Go by
this
Ellie
is
Holcomb.
here. Let me do a little plug. This is from Ellie Holcomb's Sing Remembrance Songs. The first song was from Ellie Holcomb Sing Creation Songs. Now, I know most of you don't need CDs anymore. You can download these, but again, Uncle Rudy doesn't know how to use his phone. Needs the CDs. But I've been playing this one wherever I go. And I challenge our adults out there. There's not an adult who's not going to love this song too. Because you can. I'm waiting to see what motions you put to this, Miss Kristen.
We're ready. When we come back and we're in service, this is going to be one of the songs that
we're going to sing it in the service. We're going to sing it together.
Can get going now. And for those of you who like to clap along, this is a good one to clap along to. So if you haven't got
Can't Buy Me Love.
If you haven't got your instruments, go ahead and get them. And we're going to end with Wherever I Go by Ellie Holcomb.
All right, let's go get your instruments, kids. You getting them? I want to see videos of the kids with their instruments.
Yeah, if you want to send a video,
turn that up. Turn that up, Miss Emily Wheel.
He's right beside me. Oh, how he loves me. From my head to my toes. Stars going with
God is with me wherever I go. Ba, 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 ba.
God's going with me.
God's going with me.
He's right beside me.
He's right beside me.
Oh, how he loves me.
Oh, how he loves me.
From my head to my toes.
Oh, 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 oh.
God's going with me.
God's going with me.
Never gonna leave me.
Never gonna leave me.
And I don't ever have to walk alone.
God is with me wherever I go. Ba, 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 ba.
It doesn't matter if I'm high or low. It doesn't matter if I'm fast or slow. God's always got me in the palm of his hand. Nothing I'm better is staring at him. So I can climb any mountain.
Climb any mountain.
Go through the valley.
Go through the valley.
Oh, it doesn't matter if I'm high or low.
God is with me wherever I go. Ba, 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 ba. And he's right behind me. Know how he knows me. Oh, 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 oh. God's going with me. And he's never gonna leave me. God is with me wherever I go. Ba, 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 ba. It doesn't matter if I'm fast or slow. I can climb any mountain. Go to the valley. If I'm oh, God is with me wherever I go. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Wherever I woo go up, fast or slow. Yep. Nobody, no place. That's Psalm 139, kids.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.